268. What do we appreciate? Good food, good food. That's the only cheer you're ever going to get on this show, okay? And I know it's a really cheesy way to get into it, but this is Ottawa Eats, and that's where we are today, 268 on Preston Street. I'm not doing it again. All right, we're at 268. This is Steve. Steve, thank you so much for having us.
Pleasure seeing you again.
This is a delightful establishment we have here with lovely rustic floorboards, some excellent artwork, and of course, the pièce de résistance.
Well, there's other people that are here, but yeah, thanks.
Yeah, okay, all right. Tell me about your place and what makes this place so special and why you're doing what you're doing.
Why I'm doing what I'm doing is because this is what I do, this is what I love, and basically there was no other options. But joking aside, we're a late night restaurant in Ottawa that does our full menu till 2 a.m. and that's kind of our thing. Like full menu every night except Tuesday till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts. And that's kind of what distinguishes us.
Now, whenever you come in here and you look at the menu, if you come back 2 or 3 months later, not the same.
Pretty much. There's like a staple of our chicken confit poutine, which is always going to be there because people literally yell at me on the internet saying not to take it off. Yeah. So that'll stay, and it's good. It's like grandma gravy, fries, cheese.
Do you have a grandmother in the back that makes
No, but I do have a grandmother in Nova Scotia, and she makes gravy.
Does she ship it here?
FedEx. Overnight. Yeah.
But every time you come in here, the menu is always a little bit different, and it's also experimental. If you're looking at the menu, you might recognize 1 or 2 things in it, and you're going, oh, weird, I wonder how he's going to put that together. Are you somebody that prides himself on pushing the boundaries or trying new things that you think may or may not work?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I like to experiment, like, for myself mainly to kind of try and push myself to learn like new techniques and kind of also to bring back a lot of old techniques that people aren't really using anymore. Like we're doing a lot of natural fermenting. We do a bunch of like dry curing and different ways of preservation that they used to do hundreds of years ago, and trying to get it back to a mainstay in cooking.
Right. Now, with everything that you've done so far, I mean, you've been here for what, 3 years now?
It's 3 years this past end of September.
All right. Well, congratulations on your anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you.
3 years. 3 years have gone by. What's the most important thing that you've learned so far in business here?
Basically, just keep working and keep making sure that the product that we're putting out is good. We're using good ingredients, and basically like just being here a consistent amount of time. Like I'm here pretty much 5 to 6 days a week, 14 hours, and that's kind of like the thing. So, me and Emily.
Yeah, dedicate your life to it. Never.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we do. We take time off, but.
Yeah, 1 day.
Exactly. Yeah. 1.5 days a week.
Okay, that's a good lesson.
Yeah. So that's
chain yourself to the restaurant.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're gonna step into the kitchen. It's authentic. It's experimental. It's 268 here on Ottawa Eats. Kitchen with Steve, and this is a giant bowl of...
Well, it's a pot, but...
Okay, yeah, that's good too.
So it's whole cow's milk.
Right.
We've got rennet, calcium chloride in there to set it, and right now we're in the cutting the curd stage. This is a cheese we make for our roasted beet salad.
So you make the cheese?
We make the cheese, yes, from scratch.
I love how you make it sound so simple. You're like, oh yeah, we make the cheese, no big deal.
It took a while to perfect, but whatever. Yeah. So we cut our curds into 1-inch cubes.
Now, why do you do it like that? Is it just the size that works the best, or?
It's just, I don't know, I really like these offset spatulas. They're one of my favorite tools.
That's why, Tom, because I get to use a fun tool.
But yeah, it's like the most simplest, boringest tool, but it is one of my favorites. So now, as you can see, we have solid curd.
I don't think I'd ever get past this stage.
And then we just need to break up the curd subtly.
Oh, wow.
And in another 10 minutes, it goes into a cheese mold to sit overnight to solidify.
That is like the coolest looking white ice cube I've ever seen. Now, could you eat this if you wanted to, just like this?
Yeah, fully. It's just fresh cheese. It's not going to taste really like much. It'll just taste like milk.
It tastes like milk.
Yeah.
Really delicious.
Yeah,
milk.
yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Oh, all right. Okay, so done part 1. We're going to move on to part 2. All right, so this is the experimental portion of the show. You knew that I would showcase this.
Yes.
This is your handmade mold for cheese.
This is our handmade cheese mold, made of an old baking powder tin and a couple holes drilled into it.
That's right, because the real one is expensive.
Yeah, it's made of stainless steel, and yeah, they're kind of really pricey.
And they pass the savings on to you. That's right. Okay, so the
DIY.
The cheese from the big pot here goes here, and then what's the process here? How does this happen?
So we take our curds
Yeah.
that have now been sitting for about 15 minutes, and then they go into our cheesecloth here. We'll just take a couple scoops there just so you can kind of see them. So these would go in here, and then we wait for all this excess whey that you can see around them to come off, and then that goes into our fancy cheese mold and gets weighed down with about a pound for about 12 hours. And then the cheese, once it's done, goes into a salt brine for another 2 hours. That gets your salty flavor into the cheese.
All right. So this is, you saw what it looked like at the beginning and what it looks like here, but this is what it actually looks like at the end, right?
And then our final product, we have a piece of fresh, soft cheese. And this goes for our beet dish.
Can I try a piece of that? I'd love
Yeah,
to
for sure,
try
man.
that, because I tried the milk essentially. So this is the
Yeah, so
actual
now
fresh
it's been
cheese.
brined and it sits.
That's spectacular.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Wow.
It's a cheese is called Stracchino. It's a fresh Italian soft cheese. And this is for our truffle beet salad.
It's so creamy and rich. Awesome.
Yeah, it's just like fresh milk with a bit of salt and that subtle cheesiness.
Yeah, it's got a nice little sweetness to it as well.
Yeah, we get some of our little cheese cultures from Glengarry cheese in southern Ontario. So we got our cheese, we got our local roasted radishes. We have some green radish. We got some French breakfast radish, which are the ones that have a subtle red and white and pink tint, and then our regular small red round radishes.
I am going to sound really ignorant here, but I had no idea there were different kinds of radishes.
Yeah, there's a ton of different radishes. I have about 5 in the fridge upstairs right now.
I'm learning.
And then we have our beets from Mariposa Farm. Purples, yellows, and chiogas, which everyone also calls candy cane. So these have all been roasted. Radishes roasted in butter, beets in olive oil salt. We have some pork rinds here for a little texture.
So this is a nice little sharing dish that you could just
Yeah,
get
this
as
is like a little salad that you get as a starter for like 2 people to share.
Yeah.
Goes perfectly well.
That's great.
And then there's a hole in that bottle. And then we have a truffle vinaigrette goes with this.
I think the hole's on the top.
No, there's actually the bottles crack and you get small holes in them. Truffle vinaigrette, a little bit of Malden sea salt. Boom, dunzo.
All right. So we're covered in sauce.
Yeah, I got a little oil on me.
Yeah, we'll go to the next dish. Hit the showers.
Okay, coach.
All right, we're on to dish number 2, which is a beautiful pasta dish. What is it exactly?
This one this week, since we make a different one pretty much every week or two, is a rigatelle in a sour-braten pomodoro sauce. So
You make everything sound so ridiculous. It's great.
pickled beef brisket that is then braised in a tomato sauce.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. You know,
Yeah.
no big deal.
So-
But you do this with all your pasta dishes, though, right?
Yeah, everything's handmade, and whenever we make a pasta, never any store-bought stuff. So we take our little piece of dough, and we just make like a elementary
worm.
school art project worm.
Yeah. That's the only thing I could make. And surprisingly, I still didn't do that well.
So you roll it out, then you let your dough relax.
Okay. Should I give that a shot?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Okay.
You don't need much flour, or else it doesn't stick
enough?
to the board enough. Yeah, just kind of.
So you just use both your hands?
Yeah, and then you slowly start stretching it out.
Okay. This might take a while. How much time you got?
I've got some time right now.
Yeah. I got weak, tiny hands. So how do you stretch it out exactly? What do you do?
You're rolling inside and out while you're rolling it.
No. All right, Steve, show me how you did it.
So basically, you start in the center.
Here you go. Correct
and
way.
roll out, right? Mm-hmm. So you're stretching the dough as you're.
Right.
All right, so then we have this nice little gnocchetti machine.
Yep. So you just hold it up, kind of thing, or what?
So you want to take it and you get your one piece going.
Yeah.
And once
as soon
it's
as it
in,
grabs.
once it's in, then you can start cranking it.
And then you just leave it.
Just go tuk 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 tuk.
That's it. You just keep going.
Yeah. And it just starts to slide off like center. You just knock it back over.
Wow. So could you do 3 of them at the same time?
You could, but they're all different shapes.
Oh, okay.
Boom, you just flour them up so they don't stick. And you got nice little handmade pastas.
So simple. That's great. The old world way.
Well, it's the new old way, because they used to probably make them by hand.
Yeah, that's probably true. So it's new world, old world way?
Yeah, I guess.
Middle world?
I don't know. That's...
So now we're in the kitchen. We've got our fresh pasta that, well, he rolled, or that I almost mangled, and throwing it in the water.
Boiling water.
Yeah. And what have we got right here? What kind of sauce are we working with here?
That is our brisket sauerbraten that is then braised in some San Marzano tomatoes.
All right.
And now we've got a couple big pads of butter. We've got some kale actually from our garden.
Your own personal garden?
Yeah, we have a small garden on Emily's mom's property, which is on like Maryville, Baseline, Meadowlands kind of area. Mm-hmm. And they've got a nice giant backyard, so we grow a ton of vegetables there.
Well, you don't look like a gardener. Is it you that does it?
Emily's mom does most of it, but when I did have my own place, I did a lot of gardening.
Really?
Yeah. I had a
Steve the gardener and the chef and the owner.
It's kind of goes hand in hand, right?
You're kind of like a triple threat.
It's just nice to know where your ingredients are coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. So how long would you cook this? Not very long, right?
The sauce is already ready to go, but basically what we're doing is wilting our kale into it and just waiting for our pasta, which is fresh pasta, so it only takes like 3 to 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Now with ingredients like kale and certain vegetables, do you find that they taste better or worse after a frost? Something like, we'll take kale for example.
The kale can take a frost, yeah, for sure, because it's in the cabbage family.
Okay.
It's not quite like a Brussels sprout that gets sweeter, but it's not going to wilt and die, so it doesn't really change it altogether that much. And so that's why we still have some right now.
Right. And if people want to use it in their own dishes, is it better to pick them when they're small rather than large? Is the taste a little bit better?
I'm not quite exactly sure on that one, because I find
Steve, I thought you were a gardener. What happened here?
We use it like from its infancy till it's the end of the year, but like I guess like kind of when they're new, we use them more in like a salad-esque form, because they're a little more tender, I suppose. And then at the end of the season, we usually end up wilting and braising them down into sauces. So I guess technically, it's good for all seasons, but it has its own different functions.
Pretty simple for people to do at home if they wanted to, their own pasta.
It's actually way easier than you think. It's just a couple, like, you do it a few times, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it, right?
Right.
So this should be essentially done. We come over to our plate. We've got a Romano cream here, and then a basil emulsion, and a little fresh Romano on top to finish it.
Oh, beautiful. Look at that. All right.
Boom.
Beautiful pasta dish. And depends what time of year you're coming here. You're going to get something different pretty much every time, right?
Exactly. Spring stuff will be lighter and fresher with whatever's available, and then they get to the heavier, more braised, meaty
comfort
stuff
food.
come to the fall and winter.
All right, there you go. 268 pasta done experimentally.
It's kind of old school, like old world braised meat pasta.
Just take a compliment. It's authentic. It's experiment. God,
Yeah.
Steve, you're the worst. Leave it. Dish number 3, or 3, as we like to say in the English language. What are we doing here? What's this one?
It's our fish dish at the moment. We try and always have 1 or 2 nice kind of sustainable fish dishes. So right now it is we call it ceviche, but is a little more than that.
What does that mean?
Ceviche is it's a South American acid cooked fish dish.
Okay.
So they cook usually like a white fish
Like
of some kind.
1960s acid, or? Like,
Yes, very, very out there. No, it is acid as in, we've got a little red wine vinegar here and lime juice.
Okay, so what is all this stuff that we're looking at here? So
right
just
here,
explain the red
we
wine
have
vinegar. This
some Nova Scotia bay scallops, cilantro, jalapeno, red chili, a little organic olive oil, and then you add your vinegar lime solution. Stir, stir, stir. A nice whack of kosher, and then just a couple flakes of Malden to give you like a little textural like salt crunch in between. So then you just let that sit
That's got an awesome smell
while
to
you do
it.
the rest of your stuff.
Okay, so this is essentially the cooking with acid.
Right. So now it's gonna par cook. It doesn't fully cook. Most ceviches are marinated for a couple hours. This is more like a crudo technically, but
These fancy words.
yeah. Crudo just means raw in Italian. So
Right. Okay. So all right. So you've got that, and you've got the.
I got
fish.
my white bass here.
All right.
That we got from Whalesbone Sustainable, which is a local fish provider. Then we have a carrot emulsion, which are carrots from our friend Andy at Acorn Creek. Then we're going to tempura some squash for one of the garnishes for the dish, which is a crookneck squash or Genovese squash, again from our garden.
All right. So what's the first thing you have to do?
We start the dish. I always get my sauce down first, because this one is kept cold and now it'll slowly get to room temp while we are waiting to do the rest of the stuff. Ceviche is chilling, hanging. Our pan for our fish is now hot. Little seasoning, tiny bit of salt on the other side. We'll take it skin side down. And we have to give it a little push here, because it likes to, when the heat hits the muscle of the fillet here, it retracts. And we want that skin to be nice and flat and crispy. So once that's nice and flat and searing, then we go over to the deep fryer.
So a quick question, Steve. Why would you cook it skin first? Why wouldn't you do it the other way?
Because we want the skin to be nice and crispy. And basically, this is called, like, I guess it's lateral cooking, kind of what's it's called. We basically cook the entire dish on this one side, and then just flip it over for like a second. Like, you could keep it this way the entire time, and it'll cook all the way up through.
Right.
And it actually ends up being a little moister.
Yeah, because a lot of people when they're cooking fish, they'll do the one side and then the other side, and they don't really care which side they're cooking on. But that would be a mistake.
Well, we want this skin to be nice and beautiful and crispy, because we don't want it to not get eaten. Okay. So right here we have some fresh white turnips. So this is turnip, just julienne, and that is our salad component of the dish. Our guy is crispoing beautifully. So then we have our crookneck squash right here. That we have a chickpea tempura.
So people don't know, what is tempura?
It's a very simple batter that puffs up nicely and stays really crispy. These guys don't take very long. They take like a minute and a half.
Yeah, they're pretty thin, right?
Yeah, exactly. Keep them thin, and the batter is thin as well, so it crisps up very quickly. That. Our fish going. Finish it with a little butter. And then we take it and we actually just baste the top of your fish, and that cooks it and keeps all your awesome moisture in there, and then it gets super nice and rich with the butter. And then just flip it for a second. And you can see when you cook it like that, your skin and your top is really crispy, and your underside is just cooked and going to keep all that like moisture in there.
Beautiful color too.
Yeah. So then our salad goes down on plate.
Is that something you consider a lot whenever you're making your dishes? Color and how it's all going to go together?
Yeah, color, and then kind of like complementing flavors and seasonalness, like, right? So right now there's a buttload of root vegetables, carrots, turnips, celeriac, etc. And so we try and use what's around and then try and brighten it up by...
Is color one of the last things that you consider, or is it higher on the list for you?
It's not like I totally consider it, it's just the colors that are around just kind of come out, right? So then we got our squash. And I like to dab the things off on paper towel to get rid of your excess grease on your deep fried stuff. Salt.
See, it's great because it's something that's really very simple. You're talking scallops, fish, carrots, like ingredients you can find anywhere, but you've taken and put a little twist to it. So it's amazing. It's brilliant, but it's simple.
Yeah, and messing with the texture, right? So we have our smooth sauce, we got our softer scallop, crispy skin, crunchy turnip, and then your crunchy tempura, so that you're not like, it's not all one thing bouncing off your tongue. You're not like eating mush, right?
Right. So there you go. That's it?
That's that.
There we go. Wow. Beautiful dish by Steve. All right, that's another edition of Ottawa Eats. Steve, thank you, my good friend.
Cheers indeed.
This is the beautiful man that's behind 268, and of course your beautiful co-founder as well.
Yeah, Emily. She basically does most of the work. I just work in the kitchen.
Right, so you get all the glory in this studio.
Yeah, I get all the props.
Did you tell her that we were going to be here? Did you?
Yeah. She basically like woke me up this morning.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. She sent him in for the show. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a show. So if people want to find you, where do they go?
www.info@268. Our email is at the bottom of the page, and I believe you can also make reservations there. Or 613-695-8200 is our phone number, so feel free to leave a message.
And it's at the corner of Preston and Gladstone if you're looking for it. And of course, New Year's Eve, you guys do something special.
We will be doing a tasting menu, and should be a very affordable price.
Yeah, by the way, this place is actually the place where I went on my first date with my fiance.
There you go.
So that's your fault. That's your fault.
Well, I didn't make you do it.
No, the horse's neck did that I had. I think I was 6 or 7 of those. But I'm going to try some of this amazing food. You got to come down here and check this place out, 268 in the heart of Little Italy. And of course, the beautiful food that's experimental, but I really need a new word.
Yeah.
How about just good?
Yeah, it's good.
It's really good.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
We make food good.
Food good. Ottawa Eats.